Our advanced material management will directly benefit anybody needing more robust inventory management functionality, particularly parts managers. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the following areas: materials, locations, and orders. So I'm going to go into the software now, and I'm going to start with the materials section. And as you can see here, actually before I go too far, I want to make sure that I point out a key thing, that locations are required. It's very, very key here. So it doesn't matter if you're stocking, you're transferring, you're using it on a timesheet, you need to input a location. So I'm sitting here on the PIK 100, which is motor oil material. And one of the questions I might want to know is, where does this motor oil sit? So I've got 1,820 gallons. Where is all of that stuff? What locations does it exist at? So if I come over here to my locations, I can click that and see that it exists at the central warehouse, the small warehouse, and truck 122. Another thing that I might want to know is some quick hit information from the materials perspective about, in this case, motor oil, about any given location. So if I choose central warehouse here, you'll notice that my stats update here on the left. So I can see the value of the stock, the quantity on hand, how much I'm using on average every month. And then one of the other things that I'd like to talk about here is the fact that I can see a trend of this particular material at this given location over time. So in this graph here, if you focus on the blue line for a second, which is the current year, compared to the orange line, which is the previous year, I can see that in general, or on average, I'm using 4 or 5 parts more per year. I might want to take some additional steps and stock or keep more inventory on hand at this particular location as well. I'm going to switch over to the second area and talk about locations for a moment. So when I click on the central warehouse here, you can see that my screen comes up. There's a couple of key things that I want to talk about here. First one is, at the top, I can see the total number of unique materials that exist at the central warehouse, the total value of that stock. I can also see if I have any materials that don't appear to be moving. Some stagnant materials, nothing's been happening to them for the last 90 days. And I can also see if I have any materials below the reorder point. In this case, I have 4. If I want to get some more detailed information about that, I can simply click and run a report for either of those two stats and find the exact materials that each of those are referring to and take the appropriate action. Next, I might want to come down here and find a particular material and know some information from the locations perspective this time rather than the materials perspective. So I've typed in a quick search here for 100 and I come up with my material, my motor oil again. I can see how many I have on hand, what the reorder point is, and whether or not I have any on order. A couple of small features. 2 I'm going to talk about are the transfer and the bulk transfer. The transfer I can do from either the materials or the locations perspective. If I come up to my actions drop down and I choose transfer, you'll see that I get a screen here. I simply input the part, choose my motor oil, choose the location that I want to transfer from, the to location, and the amount that I want to send, and it's done. All the transactions have just been saved into the system. Next thing that I want to talk about is the bulk transfer. And this is, wrong one here. This is useful if I want to send a truck out to for the day, and I want to make sure that it's got all the parts needed for that entire day. So if I choose to start from the central warehouse and I go ahead and pick truck 122 in this case, I can see that there are 4 parts on this truck that are deficient in quantity. That means they're below the reorder point or the minimum amount, and I can see the amount that I need, 5, 11, 4, and 7 here, respectively. I can go pull those materials, set them aside, have a handoff with the truck driver, and then come in here, hit this button, transfer, and I've just taken care of all the transactions for the day for that truck. Now I can go out completely loaded down. Close out of here. The last section that I want to talk about has to do with ordering. So if I switch over here to the orders section, and what we tried to do with ordering is make it extremely fast and simple. So generate my order. First thing I'm going to do is pick the location or locations that I want to order for. I'll just select them all here. Select next. We flood a list of parts that need to be ordered. All of these parts on the screen are the ones that need to be ordered for. So step 2, choose the vendor that I want to order for. I'll choose Ace Hardware first. The yellow parts have been highlighted, letting me know that this is what I'm about to create an order for. Generate order. I've just created an order for Ace Warehouse, or Ace Materials. Next, I want to come over here to select the second vendor that I want to order for, Lowe's. All of my parts there, I don't need to change any reorder amounts. Those have all come in here for me. Generate order. Bang, it's all done. So I'm all done ordering for the day. Now, the big benefits actually come in not so much from the ordering perspective, because I didn't actually place that with Lowe's or Ace Hardware. I still have to go do that on their respective sites or phone it in or however you go about that. But the huge advantage comes in when I want to receive for this. So if I come over here and choose Actions and Receive, you have to select one first. Receive brings my order back up that I just placed for Ace Warehouse or Ace Hardware. Shows me all the quantities, the prices, and everything that I've placed an order for. I can come up here and add some shipping if I want. I'll put in $20. And I can even distribute that cost, that shipping cost, across all of the materials that I just placed an order for. This little button here, you can see that those have been put in. But I can come in here, and instead of having to find PIK 104, going in, doing a stock command to fill everything out, repeating that function for PIK 105, stock command, filling everything out, so forth and so on. One button I've just received, and all the transactional history has been entered into the system for that particular order. You can imagine how long that would take if I had 10 or 15 or 20 different parts. So in conclusion, if you're a parts manager looking for more robust inventory management functionality, please check out our Advanced Material Management.